cell phone or a pager, would you please turn it off or set it to stun? Baruch Dayan Ha'emet, Baruch Dayan Ha'emet. We praise the Judge of Truth. As I said before, if you have a cell phone, please turn it off or set it to stun. Aunt Tilly's here. She called Aunt Tilly twice every day, so I know she's not calling Aunt Tilly. We begin with Psalm 121. Esa enai el haharim me'ayin yavo ezri. Ezri me'im Adonai oseh shamayim va'aretz. Al yitein lamot raglecha, al yanum shomrecha. Hine lo yanum v'lo yishan shomer Yisrael. Adonai shomrecha, Adonai tzircha al yad yaminecha. Yomam hashemesh lo yakeka v'yarech balayla. Adonai shmarcha mikol ra yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai shmar tzedcha uvecha me'ata va'ad olam. I lift my eyes to the mountains. From whence cometh my help? My help comes from the Lord, maker of heaven and earth. God will not let your foot give way. Your protector will not slumber. See, the protector of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. God is your guardian. He is your protection at your right hand. The sun will not strike you by day, nor the moon by night. The Lord will guard you from all harm. He will guard your soul, your going and your coming, now and forever. Together let us please recite the 23rd Psalm in English. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Amen. This is appropriate weather. It's beautiful, perfect weather today to mourn for our dear Holly Sue Leuchtag. It's cloudy, it's damp, it's rainy, it's yucky. It's appropriate weather. We're profoundly saddened. And when a person dies at this relatively young age of 54, it's a sadness and it's a tragedy. When you bury somebody 100 years old, it's a sadness. It's not a tragedy. When you bury a friend, a loved one who's 54, it's both a sadness and a tragedy. Holly's death leaves many mourners, parents and siblings, siblings by marriage, relatives, extended family, fiance, nephews, niece, friends, co-workers, and many others. She did not have many acquaintances. She had friends. As more than one person mentioned, if you're here, it's not just because you were an acquaintance, because she didn't have acquaintances for very long. You were a friend of hers. At the beginning of this month, we read from a Torah portion in the book of Exodus, and it's a beautiful and fitting reminder of your dear Holly. We read from Parashat Vayakhel, a Torah portion, Exodus chapter 35. And in Exodus chapter 35, our ancestors were instructed, they were commanded to bring materials for the construction of the Mishkan, which was the portable tabernacle as they slept through the wilderness for 40 years. But they needed to build a portable sanctuary. And when they set up camp, they set up the portable tabernacle, the Mishkan. And when they broke camp, they broke it down and they went to the next station, the next spot, and then they put it back up. So they were commanded to bring the materials, and everything was going according to a plan. You can read it in Exodus chapter 35. They were bringing materials, and they brought, and they brought, and brought, and brought. Only one problem. Our ancestors, probably for the first time in recorded history when it comes to a building fund, they didn't know when to stop bringing. And so in Exodus chapter 36, verse 6, Moses says, "Let no man or woman make further effort toward gifts for the sanctuary." And as we sit and contemplate the life of your dear Holly, we're reminded of this Torah teaching because in so many ways she didn't know when to stop either. She didn't know when to stop being caring, generous. She didn't know when to stop putting other people first. She was loving. She was a friend to many. She took control of the family celebrations, as more than one family member told me. She thought of other people before she thought of herself. And of course, she had a good sense of humor. And she could be a bit of a pain in the neck too, but you know, everyone can be. And thank God she did not know when to stop being those things and doing those things. She was born here in Cleveland, and that was on November 20th, 1961, a young woman. Her Hebrew name was Chana. Chana means gracious, and in so many ways she was gracious. She's survived by her parents, Howard and Sheila. She's one of 4 children to Howard and Sheila. She's survived by her older sister, Deborah. Then Holly was the second born. She's survived by her younger brothers, the twins, Eric and Eddie. Deborah's husband, Joel. She's survived by her fiance, Sam. Eric's wife, Robin. Eddie's wife, Irina, or I can only say it in the Russian, I apologize. Irina. 3 nephews, Justin, whose Hebrew name is Yirmiyahu, Brandon, whose Hebrew name is Baruch, Valerie, and the 25-month-old Louis Jacob. She's survived by other relatives and friends as well. She was bat mitzvah at Brit Emet and confirmed there as well. She was a smart gal, her father said. She was smart. She graduated Mayfield Heights High School. Her coworkers and boss loved her in the office. Her boss said, Howard said her boss said, when she walked in the room, she brightened it. And of course, that's the type of person you want in the office, right? You don't want somebody to walk in the office with a curmudgeon, for crumb to put them up. You want somebody, not a curmudgeon, you want somebody with a happy face and a nice personality most of the time. Nobody has a great personality all the time. She was like sunshine. Her brother Eric and wife Robin recalled, she was really good with our kids. She took them to movies. She'd been a babysitter for them. She had unconditional love for them. She went on vacations with us over the last couple of years, and she was really more like a friend than a sister. And she was always the one doing the cooking for the holidays. She was the one who took the lead to get the details together for the birthdays or whatever the family celebration was. She had a lot of friends, no acquaintances, just friends. And when it was her day, she called it a Holly Day. She used to joke that she was adopted, especially when Mom went to go look for Holly's birth certificate and couldn't find it. She loved her dogs, and she had a dog that died of cancer maybe 6-7 months ago. And she got another dog, and now that dog is living with Eric and Robin, the boys, taking care of the dog. She made us promise we would take care of the dog. The dog's name is Scarlett. I thought, whoa, Scarlett Johansson. No, Scarlett for Ohio State University. Difference between men and women. And they're rescue dogs, so they were mutts. Holly was one of Robin's best friends. Eddie said, every 4th of July she had the biggest party for friends and family. She opened her house to people. She was a big Browns fan, which means a long-suffering Browns fan. She was a great aunt and a great sister-in-law. I always called her Sue. It was her middle name, and I was the only one who called her that. She was probably one of the best friends a person could have. She had a great sense of humor, and she was the one in control of the holidays, and everybody knew it. Debbie, you said my sister was my best friend and my world. She always put other people in front of herself, and you said, I am going to miss her. We talked maybe 3 or 4 times a day. When I moved home from South Carolina a few years ago, came back to Cleveland, she opened up her house. You notice a theme here with Holly. She opened up her house, and we lived there for about 8 months. My husband, our dog, and me. She tried very hard to get us to move up here, and she made me walk, and she made me exercise, and she tried to get me to eat better. It's good to have a sister. When things were bothering her, she didn't let other people know it. She really was a very helpful person. And Howard and Sheila mentioned that the first time Sam's mother, Joanne, Sam is her fiance, Sam Basaka, the first time Joanne saw Holly, she fell in love with Holly. And she was like a second daughter to Holly. Howard and Sheila said, for us, she was so smart, and she would light up our house. Our darling daughter was a leader in the family, and so when she would take care of people's birthdays, she didn't have a mean bone in her body, except if her siblings didn't help her clean up in the kitchen after a family gathering. But that's not mean. Those are just expectations, aren't they? She loved her job and her dogs and her life. She called Aunt Tilly twice a day. We loved her more than life, Howard said. We will think of her every single day. Holly fought this cancer with every fiber of her strength. She did the best she could, and for this we are grateful. She was a good person. In Yiddish, that's mensch, a good, decent person. She was more than that. A good person is enough, but she was actually more than that. She was more than just a good person. She was someone upon whom you could rely. And in the shadow of our loss, in Holly's loving memory, each of us should strive to be a person upon whom others can rely. Monday afternoon, accompanied by family and friends, Holly breathed her last. And now there's no more pain or deterioration. There's just rest and wholeness and peace. Her soul is returning to God, to be with the souls of her deceased family and friends and the ancestors of our people. We learn this in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 7. The dust returns to the earth as it was. The spirit returns to God who gave it. Judaism speaks about life after death as olam haba, which means the world to come. The world to come is an entirely spiritual existence from our understanding. And so you will be together with your dear Holly's soul when you go, when each of us goes. God will take care of the souls of our loved ones. We have sent along a few prayer books, a few well prayed from prayer books from our congregation, along with Holly in the casket. For not only is it a mitzvah, a religious obligation to escort the body of your loved one to its final resting place, but also holy books of our tradition. Your memories are rich with thoughts of your dear Holly, who has gone from life, and we give thanks to God for this gift of life. We hoped and we prayed for many more years. And as you think of her, be kinder and more thoughtful of others. And let us do these things in her loving memory. And so we conclude with words from the first chapter of the book of Job. Adonai Natan, v'Adonai Lakach, Yehi Shem Adonai Mevarach. The Lord hath given, the Lord hath taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Amen. Ose shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, yimru, amen. Ya'aseh shalom, ya'aseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. May God, who causes peace to reign in the high heavens, may God cause peace to rain down upon us, upon all Israel, and upon the soul of our dearly departed Holly Sue Leuchtag, Chana Bat Heskel Vashena. And let us say, Amen. Please rise for El Malei Rachamim. Into your care, O God, we entrust the spirit of our dearly departed Holly Leuchtag. For you keep faith with your children in death as in life. Sustain us that we may meet with serenity the mysteries that lie ahead, knowing that when we walk through the valley of the shadow of death, you, O God, are with us, a loving friend in whom we put our trust. You are the light of our life, our hope in eternity. El Malei Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hametzeh Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei HaShechina, Im Kedoshim U'Tohorim, Gezohar Mazhirim, Et Nishmat Chana Bat Heskel Vashena, Shahalacha L'Olama, Ba'al Harachamim, Yastireha B'Seter Kenafav L'Olamim, Vayitzroh b'tzor hachayim et nishmata Adonai hu nachalata v'tanuach b'shalom al mishkava v'nomar Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence to our dearly departed Chana Bat Heskel Vashena, our dearly departed Holly Sue Leuchtag. She has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in the shadow of your wings, and let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace. And let us say, Amen. Please be seated for a moment. We will go to Hillcrest Cemetery and we will escort Holly's body to its final resting place, and at that point we will recite the Kaddish prayer. She will be on the Kaddish list at Temple Israel Ner Tamid and other Kaddish lists as well, I presume. She'll be on our Kaddish list for the next 30 days for Shloshim, for the next 4 Friday nights. We'll say Kaddish for her. We'll also say Kaddish for her Wednesday afternoon Hebrew school and Sunday morning religious school. The children need the practice with the prayers, and no better way to practice a prayer than to say it for a good person. The family has also asked me to let you know that if you care to make a donation in Holly's loving memory, among the places you may consider, please consider first among them the hospice of the Cleveland Clinic or Temple Israel Ner Tamid. After we're at Hillcrest Cemetery, we're going to Landerhaven. We'll do a couple of prayers and we'll do Kaddish at Landerhaven. Family will be there noshing and gathering and eating the mourner's meal and soaking up the love that you give them until 9 p.m. And then also Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Howard and Sheila's house, which is at 5942 Cantwell Drive, Mayfield Heights. Friday 1 to 4, Saturday 7 to 9, Sunday 1 to 4, and 7 to 9. If you cannot make it to the cemetery to go with us now, we'll be at Landerhaven in about an hour and 15 minutes from now. And now we'll receive instructions for the processional to the cemetery.